So last month, I went out for 2 days without any of my camera accessories. I had no tripod, no filters, I didn't even take my camera bag with me. All I had with me was my camera around my neck and the one lens that was attached to the front of my camera. And to my surprise, I actually came home with some of the best images that I've taken all year. Do you like my lighthouse lamp? For those of you who aren't new to my channel, you may recognise this lamp because I first saw it at the beautiful Eileen Schoenich lighthouse cottage on the Isle of Skye that I went to with my best friend back in February. And then a month later, she very kindly surprised me with my very own lighthouse lamp for my birthday. I absolutely love it. Anyway, getting on to the topic of today's video. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk you through these 2 days that I was out with just my camera, no accessories at all, just my camera as it is, and also showcase to you the photographs that I took throughout those 2 days and why I believe them to be some of my best images of the year. Now, I think when it comes to landscape photography, there's always a pressure to ensure that you have all the gear. Of course, there's many situations where a tripod is essential for landscape photography. Obviously, if you're doing long exposure, you need a tripod. If you're shooting in low light conditions, it's advisable to have a tripod to prevent camera shake. And just in general, having a tripod can be really beneficial, especially if you're using ND grad filters, for instance, so that you can ensure that they line up perfectly with the horizon. But there's also many occasions when you go out where a tripod isn't essential and where you can get just as good photographs by hand holding your camera. And when I first got into photography, I very rarely used a tripod, but as the years have gone on, I found myself using a tripod many times. In fact, I got to the stage where I was using a tripod for every single shoot, and I actually found it incredibly restrictive. The same thing goes for my camera bag. Of course, if you're going to take a tripod, filters, other accessories with you, or you're hiking a long distance to your location, then having a good quality bag on your back is in many ways an essential piece of kit. And equally, if it's a horrible day and it's raining a lot, you want a good bag with a waterproof covering so that you can protect your camera gear. But on those days when you're maybe walking not very far from your car, where the weather's quite nice and settled, and where you want that little bit of freedom, I actually find it incredibly rewarding to go out without my backpack, and again, it takes away a restriction. Now, what I found recently is by going out without any accessories at all, is that it gives me so much freedom, so much more freedom, should I say, with my camera. And what I mean by this is when my camera's in my bag, I often see scenes around me and I think, that might make a good photograph. But then you've got that added action of having to take your bag off, take your camera out, get it set up, take the shot. And even a simple thing like having to unzip a bag over and over again, having to take your lens cap on and off as well, it adds extra steps to the photography process, and in some ways it can be quite restrictive. And what I found that by getting rid of my bag and just having my camera around my neck was that I was so much more free with my photography. My lens cap was off the whole time. I was just walking around locations, seeing photographic opportunities and snapping away. I mean, the downside was that I came home with far more images than I would normally have. But within those images included some of my favourite shots from this year. And I believe it fully to be the fact that I took away that barrier of having to get my camera in and out my bag and just had that freedom to snap away. Of course, there's a lot of limitations with this. I mean, for one, I only had one lens, so I didn't have the opportunity, if something amazing was happening in the distance, to zoom in with a telephoto lens and capture it. Nor did I have the opportunity to do really wide-angle close-up shots of interesting foregrounds. But by using just the one lens, again, it took away that barrier of having to chop and change lenses. But of course, there's pros and cons to everything. But for me, these 2 days, I just found them so freeing and so unrestricted. And it led me back to where my photography journey and passion for photography first began. And it was those evenings that I used to walk around my local area with my camera in hand, just snapping away. And I'm now going to show you some of the photographs that I took on day one of me doing this, and then talk you through why I found this process so freeing, and why these photographs, in my opinion, are some of my best from the year. So all the photographs you've just seen were taken of exactly the same subject matter. I was shooting this beautiful pier in Burghead overlooking the harbour, which, by the way, is one of the locations that you can undertake a photography workshop with me if you're interested. Links in the description below. But although every image that you've just seen is of the same subject matter, you'll see that every single image is different. By having a handheld camera, I was able to get low to the ground to include interesting foreground in my image, and then equally as quickly stand up and snap away at eye level vantage points. I found it easy to walk along the headland and around the area, composing different shots, getting up high, getting down low, not having to fiddle around with a tripod, not having to slide filters in and out of my camera, or take my camera in and out of my bag as I moved around the location. And I found this so incredibly freeing. Not only did I have more sort of freedom with my movements and my compositions, I also found that I spent more time tuning in to what was going on and to enjoying the sunset at its fullest. Again, I find if you're fiddling around with your bag, your tripod, your filters, that's less time that your mind is focused on the scene around you. And for me, I got into landscape photography because I just loved being outdoors. I loved connecting with nature. Therefore, the less time that I spend faffing around with equipment, the more time I can enjoy that stunning scene before me. And that evening really reminded me of this. And as a result, the following day, I went to Findhorn, and this is where some of my favourite and definitely even the best photographs I feel I've ever taken happened. So I have to say quickly before I explain this, that as you can see on both evenings, I was very blessed with good conditions. So the first evening in Burghead, we had a lovely clear orange glowing sunset. It was just stunning. And then the evening in Findhorn, the following night, we had these lovely purpley pink tones in the sky and reflecting on the water. And we also had this beautiful subtle mist in the distance as well. And obviously when the light is good, it optimises your chances of getting really interesting photographs. But you'll see that this time in Findhorn, I wasn't just photographing one subject matter. I was moving freely up and down the river's edge and the bay itself and taking various shots from different vantage points. I had photographs of the old historical piers. I had photographs of the lovely rowing boats being reflected on the water. I had shots of the sun setting itself. I had shots of the yachts lined up against another pier. I had some really different and unique shots. And again, by taking away that barrier of having to take my camera in and out of my bag, faffing around with a tripod and faffing around with filters, I felt like I had that freedom to completely experiment with my images. And I genuinely think that some of those shots that you've just seen are some of the best photographs I've ever taken. The light is amazing, I'm really happy with the compositions, and the memory of that night just speaks so fully to me. And I hope you too can find real beauty in those images. But I can guarantee you, if I'd gone out that night with all of my gear, I would not have taken as many photographs, I would not have played around with different compositions and heights the same amount as I was doing, and I certainly would not have enjoyed that beautiful, subtle light as much as I did. Just by looking around the scene and by taking the odd shot, getting down low, taking some more shots, walking a bit further, I could truly immerse myself in nature. Now, I'm not saying for any minute that you shouldn't go out with all your camera gear. You know, like I say, there's times when your tripod is essential. There's times where filters can really add to your photographs. And there's times where having a backpack is not only convenient, but necessary to take all your camera gear around with you. But one thing I would stress is that if you're like me and you got into photography to truly connect with the landscape, challenge yourself now and again to go out without any of your accessories and just take your camera. There's always the risk that you're going to be greeted with phenomenal conditions and you're going to wish that you had all your gear with you. But if you can just step back and appreciate that moment that's happening in front of you, it can be so freeing. And I think just being out in nature and enjoying nature through the art of photography is what makes landscape photography so enjoyable. You're getting out there at times of day when other people wouldn't.
So this morning, I got up at 4:45.
Because you want to witness that stunning light.
It's incredible.
And of course, photographing it is your main aim and your main goal.
So let's just try and get another image of this beautiful scene before that golden light disappears.
But actually experiencing it,
it's good to step back from your camera and just admire it.
For me, I think, is more important. And the photography in many ways comes second to that and really adds to the experience and helps you to create those memories. So I hope this video has just given you something to think about. You know, even if you're somebody that's quite new to photography and you can't afford all the accessories, do not let that put you off getting out with your camera. And the final thing that I will end on is not only do I find not having all my gear more freeing when I'm outside, but I also find that not having all my gear with me also makes me blend into the scene more. I've experienced so many times when I've been out with my tripod and faffing around with filters that a lot of people tend to look at you and what you're doing, and that distracts me from my actual work. And you often sometimes have people coming up to you and talking to you. But if you're just out walking around with your camera, people don't notice you the same, and you don't have those same eyes on you, which means you are far more focused also on the scene in front of you. And if you're somebody who's quite shy and doesn't like attention, you know, being out with minimal gear is a great way to blend into your environment. So I just want you all to kind of think about this, I guess, next time you're out with your camera. Maybe challenge yourself from time to time to go out without all of your gear. I definitely know moving forwards that I'm going to be doing a bit of both. There'll be many shoots I'll still go on when I've got all my gear with me, But there's also going to be times where I'm just going to go out for a nice walk at sunset, just enjoy the scene around me and leave all of my gear in the car or at home and just have my camera with me. Be open to going out without everything and just see what happens and see if it makes you feel more free in your photography and if it opens up more compositions and interest in the landscape. As always, I want to say a huge thank you for watching, and as we're getting towards the end of the year now, I just want to say a huge thank you to all of you that have supported me this year. It's not been the easiest year for any of us, and especially during lockdown, I was finding it very difficult to come up with ideas, but it meant a lot to me that there was many of you that were inspired by me going out and doing macro photography in my garden. But equally, I'm really happy that many of you stuck with my channel and came out with me virtually when I was able to get out and about again in nature, doing the things that I really love. And I look forward to sharing a lot more of Scotland with you in 2021. I look forward to hopefully seeing you all again next time.